Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Everything Educator Related. I know I have been gone for a while, but it was not in vain. Hello guys, I am back with something special for you. We have created our FTCE ESE course, so for all my people who will be taking the course soon, come and grab your FTCE course right here in the right place. Now I'm gonna scroll down and I'm gonna show you what we have going on here. This consists of 4 plans. You have your 2 weeks, your monthly, your 3 month, and your yearly plan. And obviously, my course breaks down every single competency there is. Plus, you have a practice test after each competency. And of course, you know I have to get you right with your final exam at the end. Now, if you are interested in going ahead and subscribing to my course, please go ahead and do so, or you will be missing out. The link is below. This competency has to do with understanding the foundational principles and best practices for providing an education to students with exceptionalities or disabilities. So the key word you want to pay attention in this competency is legal and ethical standards, right? So legal means the special education laws like IDEA, ADA, and Section 504. Ethical standards mean those best practices that involves an educator's code of conduct. Are you upholding the rights and dignity of students with disabilities? So overall, you are interpreting these principles both legally and ethically to ensure that the students receive an appropriate education, right? So let's look at the first legal standard, because remember, there are the legal standards and you also have the ethical standards. So the legal standards are the laws. So let's start looking at the laws. The first law is the IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. This is a primary federal law governing the education of children with disabilities, right? So it basically mandates that these students receive a free, appropriate public education, FAPE. Free as in it is no cost to the parents. Appropriate meaning it is tailored to meet the unique needs of each student with a disability. Public meaning it is eligible for students with disability to have the right to receive their education in public schools, including charter schools or even public magnet schools, right? So the educators must adhere to the requirements outlined in IDEA, including those related to development and implementation of the IEPs. IEP stands for the Individualized Education Programs. Now, let's look at the other law. The other law is the ADEA, the Americans with Disabilities Act. ADA prohibits discrimination in various aspects of public life, right? So, for example, in educational opportunities, programs, and activities. The next law is the Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act. Now, this requires schools to provide equal access to educational services and accommodations to students with disabilities who do not qualify for special education services under IDEA but have a disability that limits their major life activity, right? So this may include physical disabilities such as chronic health conditions, that is asthma, diabetes, maybe orthopedic impairments. It can be mental health disabilities such as depression. It can be learning disabilities such as dyslexia, medical conditions such as AIDS or HIV. So these are not listed under IDEA, but because of the Section 504 law, these students can still get services. And the last law is the FERPA. That is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. Now, this law protects the privacy of students' educational records and requires the educators to maintain that confidentiality, right? This includes their services that they are receiving, or includes their grades and any type of educational records that they do have. Now, let's continue to look at the ethical standards. Once more, the ethical standards include promoting the dignity and rights of students, right? So it's respecting their individual differences, it is committing to equity and inclusion, it is your professional integrity and accountability, it's advocating, it's having cultural competence and sensitivity, and it's ensuring that you have continual professional growth in this profession, right? So according to the principles of professional conduct for the educational profession in Florida, they state that this can be found on the website, the Florida Department of Educational website. These basically state the ethical principles that govern an educator's way of teaching. So it's all about respect and integrity. That means the educator should value the worth and dignity of every person. This includes disciplinary principles, that is the obligation to students, obligation to public, and obligation to profession. Obligation to students mean you must protect students from harmful conditions. You must prohibit discriminating against students. Obligation to public means you must distinguish personal views from institutional affiliations. You must not accept or offer gifts or favors that could influence your professional judgment. And obligation to profession means educators must maintain honesty in all professional dealings. They must not engage in harassment, and you must report arrests, right? So overall, these principles uphold the integrity, the professionalism, and commitment of educators in Florida, and it establishes expectations for ethical behavior and accountability on your part. And you know that violation of these principles may result in disciplinary actions, including, suspension of your certificate or revocation, right? So this is what this competency means.